is.
What is that? Is that just a bacon sandwich on raisin toast?
No, that's me overcooking badly a grilled cheese sandwich with bacon on it.
Oh, okay. I thought there was raisins in there.
It does look like raisin toast, though. Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to having a raisin toast bacon sandwich.
You know, you're right. That would go right. Like raisin toast and bacon would go. You'd be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, a little butter.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's a great idea.
There you go.
Put that.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for the follow too, Joe. I appreciate you.
I didn't realize I wasn't following you.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
Isn't that weird? Like every once in a while, you're like, "How am I not following you? We've rated you. We've hung out. We've
sure
met in person." Mm-hmm. Like someone the other night came in. I'm like, "How were you not following me?" They're like, "I guess I wasn't following you." So.
No, it's true. I mean, nobody really intends it. It just happens, right? You just forget, or something gets lost in along the way.
Sometimes you go and you think you didn't follow them, and then you hit follow, and then you actually unfollowed the person.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I gotcha.
Like, I'm not following this person. The next thing.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute.
Yep. Oh my goodness, King is here. King Downbreaker is a great supporter over here on the Sandwich Show. Welcome in, King. How you doing? Variety streamer as well. Good to see you, King. Welcome in. How you doing? Yeah. But let's get back to the topic of beef jerky that we were talking about off air. So, any other anecdotes as far as the beef jerky?
I'm one of those people, like, no matter what gas station I go into, I got to check out their beef jerky. Like around here, I pretty much know in Syracuse area what I'm going to get. But when you go into different parts of the country or even a different part of the state, or you're like, yeah, I'm in a town I haven't been into, I'm going to go into this gas station. And most of the time they have like Jack Links in, that's like the main, for years it was Oh Boy Oberto was like the like standard. Now Jack Links is now the standard, but you never know what you're going to find. Like some local guys got in there, so I'm always trying to find big beef, beef jerky. I was in a beef jerky of the month club once.
Really? That's great.
And but they were just sending sometimes they were just sending weird stuff to just send weird stuff. I'm like, I want weird stuff. But like I played a wine and chocolate festival the other day, and they had different vendors there. And one of them was the Jerky Hut.
Yeah.
And I went over there, and they had so much good stuff. And my daughter has now grown a love of beef jerky. But I also like fantastic. There's different kinds of beef jerky. There's like, you can get the tender beef jerky. Some people like the tender stuff, where it's traditional beef jerky is like you gotta fight with it. It's like almost like a piece of wood.
Leather.
Right? Like leather. You do that and you gotta work it, and that's like what is it? It's like there's this brand that I'd like to find out everybody can carry. It's called Wild Bill's, and there's Wild Bill's, and then there's Wild Bill's from the jar. And it's a different style of beef jerky, and it's like very traditional style of beef jerky. And it's I love it. I love finding different beef jerky. It's not always about the weird stuff, because sometimes it's a little too weird, like rattlesnake jerky. Like now you're just jerky and everything for whatever. And just beef jerky's fine. Turkey jerky I can go without. It's like okay. It looks weird. It looks like plastic.
Yeah.
I like to find what other people do, and then there's some beef, but I do like beef sticks. Like you get the like.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I was wondering about your okay. Because it's like, is it like easier to eat? Would you find them easier to eat? Because I tend to find it.
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows a beef stick is like, oh, I'm eating a Slim Jim, but like Slim Jims are like this. There's better stuff. Like especially where I grew up, there's a lot of hunting that goes on here. I have a lot of people that hunt deer in this area, so they're always making like, out of the parts of the meat, parts of the deer that really aren't good for cooking, so they'll grind it up and make it into the jerky, or make it into like a summer sausage or a venison stick, like almost like a pepperoni or something like that.
That's exciting.
Oh God, I love those.
I love it. All right, folks, let's go ahead and start this up. I want to keep this going. This is great. This is just a phenomenal way to start. So welcome, Joe. It's absolutely a privilege to have you here. Thank you so much
Welcome, man.
And
There he is.
hey, everybody, how's it going? I'm Davey. I'm the host of The Sandwich Show, and we feature interviews every week here on Twitch. Tonight, we've got a great guest for you. He is he's been there, he's done that, he's done all the things. He's just been on tour with Halasine. He was part of Brand New Sin. He knows over 4,000 songs. He has a great community on Twitch and on TikTok. Let's say hi to Just Joe Syracuse. What's going on, Joe? Welcome in. It's great to see you tonight. Yeah, I know we've met before. We have met in Los Angeles. We were both there for a Matt Walden concert, which was really an insane night. And it was the day before you started your tour with Halasine.
Yeah,
back in March.
I came into town early just because I didn't want to try to fly in and have something go wrong and me not make the show in LA. Like me doing this as long as I have, it's like, if you can get in a day early, then get in a day early for your travel, especially when you're going across the country. So it was like, okay, let's get in a day early. And then I happened to see Matt Walden like advertising that he was going to be what was the name of, I always forget the name of that venue.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I live here and I forgot. That's
I just know that it was in the movie Star is Born.
Star is Born, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I said I was going to go to the show, but I didn't tell anybody. I bought tickets, and the only person that I reached out to was Carmela. And I'm like, I'm going to reach out to Carmela and let her know that I'm coming. So I let her know that I was coming, and I'm like, no, but don't tell anybody else. And then the only other person that kind of knew, and I think he reached out because he's like, I'm trying to come down to the show, was Matt Suarez. And then Matt's like, well, I'll come down a day early and I'll come pick you up at your hotel, because I was at LAX, and that's, 30 minutes away from, or it's still a drive away from the club. So he came and picked that's what he did. And then we show up and kind of standing in line waiting for everything to come in, and people like, Just Joe?
That was me. I was just like,
and you're like, hey, and we're like, Davey, you're like, Davey's eating sandwich. And it was like all these other people that's coming in. It was like Twitch community and moderators and everything else.
Yeah. That was really a great moment. Like, and it's just funny that, as you said, like, there was really no, you're just there to see the show. Like, that's what's so funny about that. You're like, you wanted to see Matt Walden and company, and I thought it was really great that. Were you surprised how many people from Twitch were at the show? Because it definitely.
Honestly, was there anybody that wasn't involved from some kind of sort of realm of Twitch?
Right.
Was there anybody who was just there because they wanted to see Matt and they knew him from something else?
Great question. Yeah, you have a point. Like, it seemed like everyone had either was a fan or a mod or they were streaming, right? And right. That's really true. And so it was truly. I always look back at that as like the TwitchCon 0.5. Like, it was like the TwitchCon before the TwitchCon. It was really cool. Like, it was a great night.
Yeah, it was cool because there was. I mean, there had to have been at least not just the people that are involved in the Twitch community. So I'm trying to think of how many actual streamers were there.
Yeah.
It had to have been not just the ones that were involved in the show, the 4 that were involved in the show, but the people that were in the audience. So it was cool. It was cool.
Absolutely.
Why am I so fuzzy, man?
I know it must be a network thing. We can work with it, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I'm gonna touch something, then I'm afraid I'm gonna touch something and it's gonna break it. I'm fuzzy, whatever. As long as the sound quality's there, it is what it is.
It definitely is, yeah, folks. We were sussing things out on the tech side before we started, but we hear you great though. That's really great. The sound is awesome. That's Perfect. Obviously the important thing here. Lo-Fi Joe says, Bredington, by the way, welcome in, Bredington. Nice to see you tonight. And and by the way, I just want to mention, I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving, and hopefully it was full of great food and great sandwiches and things like that, and good times with good people. So
I think that's the best part of Thanksgiving, is having the turkey sandwich afterwards.
Yeah. It's funny though. We went through that turkey so fast in our family that we didn't have much left. So there was not much of the turkey sandwich. It's very unusual. We somehow seemed to really be really hungry. How was your turkey sandwich the next day?
It was good, but I only had enough for one because it was the same situation. It's almost like you need to make a turkey for dinner and then another one just for sandwiches.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
let's make another one. It's like almost like you want to make one at home, or you make an extra one so that, because I mean, here's the thing. I mean, we had a fresh bird.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it was literally killed like a couple days before Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
And anybody who knows it's like a fresh bird from a farm, most of them are, 16, 17 pounds tops.
Yeah.
It's everyone's like, oh, we got a 30-pound bird. It's like, yeah, like they had that thing pumped full of, steroids and everything else, and probably didn't live the greatest of life. So it's like, it's a big bird, but is it like, so unless you buy one of those big birds,
Mm-hmm.
which can be very expensive.
Yeah.
And when did turkey get so expensive? Well, then everything.
Big question.
Turkey gets very expensive. Like I saw to get a fresh non-frozen bird, it was like, I saw a couple of them were like $120. I'm like,
that's outrageous. I don't remember being that much. Wow.
I remember getting turkeys like $20-$30.
Yeah.
You can get frozen ones, but now you go to the store and they have them all out, like the frozen ones that they didn't sell. So then they just you can go get a turkey, but then it takes days to thaw out. Like X amount of days per pound to be able to defrost it. So you got to just let it sit there for days thawing out.
That's crazy. But you're right. It's funny how much work goes into making turkey. But let's say good load of Canadian Carla. I do want to special thanks to Canadian Carla for just being the cool person you are. I know she's a great mod for your channel, Joe, and I do want to give her a shout out before we get going. But
yeah, we get it gets. But then again, as I'm getting older, I mean, I like turkey, but I honestly like the sides. I'm more about like the sides and the pie.
Same. I think just for the amount of work you put in a turkey, does it seem worth it? And I think with each year, I feel like the answer is closer to no, right? Because like
until you go to somebody that knows how to deep fry a turkey.
That's
once you have
valid.
a deep fried turkey, like when my brother, he lives in Florida now, but when he lived up here, he used to put on Thanksgiving because he went to culinary school. So he would always cook. It was like, let this guy cook because he knows what he's doing. And he would cook two birds. He would cook one in the oven traditionally, and then he would do two in the fryer outside. Yeah. And he had to do two of them because those are the ones everybody ate. Mm-hmm. And those can be incredibly juicy. Or a smoked one. One year we had a smoked one that we bought from a barbecue place. Mm-hmm. And that was smoked, but it's like, man, trying to cook a bird and make sure that it's the right temperature and it doesn't dry out. I mean, you don't want it to turn out like, what is it? The National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Hope this bird is as good as it looks, and
it's like one of those pumps, like those like a shoe almost.
But the base the turkey. The last time and then we can move to something else, but I think the last time that I made a turkey, I did it upside down, and you put the breast.
That's interesting.
You put the breast down so that all the dark meat juices and the fats from that part of the bird, because I mean, you rarely eat the other side of the bird. That stuff all goes down into the breast and down to the bottom of the pan, and then goes up this way. And that was the juiciest I've ever done. But you can only cook it like that for a certain period of time, and then you do have to flip it. So that's kind of a thing. Halfway through, you got to take it out. You got to.
While there's finagling involved, that sounds like a really clever idea. Tina also agrees. Well, Tina French, welcome in. Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, you can Google it and YouTube it. I mean, it's dumb, but you do have to get some hot gloves because that turkey is 5 billion degrees when you take it out of the oven.
Oh yeah. And I was thinking about like some of the challenges with going back to deep frying. Like I can imagine. I wonder what the time to deep fry a turkey is. Is it about the same? Is it less?
No,
it should be less, right?
Way fast. Way fast.
Okay.
Like hours faster. You can pretty much deep fry a turkey I believe in under an hour. If someone wants to Google that,
Brett says 45 minutes. Okay, 45 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say it's under an hour because it depending on the size of the bird, I think it still does go by a pound, but you can drop that thing pretty quickly and it's done. So
that's great. Yeah, sounds like a win to me. Phil Velo, welcome in as well. Let's give Phil a shout out in the chat, everybody.
Hi, Phil Velo.
I think you know Phil. Yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
Good people. Good people. Welcome in, everybody.
Brad, of course, was Brett just? Oh, he must be all done modding over for Finn McKenty. He mods for, and Finn McKenty being
cool.
one of my favorite. He's a YouTuber. I know he goes on Twitch, but I've been following Finn for years.
Oh.
He has a thing called the Punk Rock MBA, and he just talks music. Unbelievable, and he's funny as hell, man.
That's great.
Oh, he's pulling double duty. I was like, wait a minute, I thought he was. Don't tell Finn. That's all right.
Now, what's the handle for Phil, Brett? Can you get that to me? I can go and give a shout out over here so folks over here can follow too. So let's make sure we.
Finn McKenty.
Finn McKenty.
Yeah, I think he'll put it up
there. Okay, cool.
Everyone's gonna be giving some random follows.
I love
I've
that.
never met him, but I'm a fan. I usually watch his stuff in the morning. There you go.
Hey, thank you. Actually, let's do this. The fancy. I like this new fancy. I like the new fancy shout out. There we go.
I know the shout out. Yeah, with hey.
Let's just click it right here. You don't even have to leave the chat. Just click the little button right there. There you go. But so you talked about sides. Mm-hmm. What are your favorites?
I mean, I love a good stuffing.
Mm-hmm.
I make a stuffing every year, no matter where I go. My mom has always had this stuffing that it's very simple. It's done in a crock pot. Like a lot of people have the stuffing inside the bird, or it's more like a stove top. But mine is it's simple as this: it's seasoned bread cubes, chicken stock or chicken broth, and then you usually you can do peppers and onions. But this year I did like a minestrone vegetable mix and just sauteed it. You put that in there. You put the broth in there. You crack a couple eggs in there. And you put like a sprig of like parsley or something like that in there, and you just cook it for 45 minutes and then kick it down the low for like 4 to 5 hours. It's a very wet stuffing, kind of looks like it, not to make it sound unappetizing, but like wet dog food.
It's the texture one, right?
Flavor is incredible. It's and some people, and I've had people get that and they're like, "What's your mom's recipe?" And I go, "It's really super simple."
Really? Wow.
You know,
pretty good.
It's super simple. But I like that. I love cranberry sauce.
Nice.
Cranberry sauce.
Nice.
And I like both. I like the actual cranberry sauce and I like the jellied cranberry that comes out of the can.
Yeah.
Like a can. Green bean casserole.
Oh yes, yeah.
Love a good green bean casserole with the fried onions on the top, those little crunchy onions. My friend, I didn't have it this year because I didn't go visit her, but my friend, she makes this thing. I can't remember what they call it. They call it. She's indigenous. She's from the reservation near. She grew up on the reservations here in Southern New York, and she makes this thing called corn pudding, which is more or less like a corn souffle.
Ooh, wow.
Which is really good. You cook it in like a cake pan and then you cut it out and it comes out like, it looks yellow, but it's like got cream. It's kind of like a thick cream corn. I don't know how to explain, but it's really good. A lot of eggs.
Nice.
And then I love a good, if you take, I love mashed potatoes, but it's got to have a lot of gravy on it. And the mashed potatoes got to be done correctly. I hate super lumpy or dry mashed potatoes.
Yeah. That's true.
I think my last thing is like a good sweet potato or yam. And whether it's by itself or done in some kind of whipped up concoction as well.
Great choices all. Yeah, Moke Helix, welcome in. Good to see you tonight. When will we get to desserts? And I think that Joe touched on it. That's a good one. I did not hear pumpkin.
Is there any ones that I missed that people dig?
I was gonna say pumpkin pie. I didn't.
Well, I mean, I consider that dessert. I didn't consider it, but now we're going to talk pies.
Let's go.
I like all the pies.
I love it.
But here's the thing: do you ever have a slice of cheese with your pie? Do you have pie cheese?
That's interesting.
So especially with apple pie. Growing up in my family, I have and my grandmother and my uncle or my grandmother was English, and over in certain parts of the UK, they'll eat a slice of apple pie and then have a slice of, like cheddar cheese.
Okay.
And you eat slice of the pie and eat cheddar cheese. It sounds really weird. It's really good. So I love apple. I love pumpkin. We had lemon meringue this year.
Nice.
chocolate pie.
Wow.
And then my grandfather, and I haven't had it in years, probably not since my grandfather passed, which has been well over 20 years. He loved mincemeat.
The savory pie. Interesting. Yeah.
Which really freaked me out when I was a kid because I'm like, it's meat, it's pie. And he's like, it's not mincemeat. It's like dates and all that stuff. And it looked weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I totally misread that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, mincemeat is like a mixture of I don't know. It's like, I know there's dates in there.
Yeah.
That type of dried fruits. And it's done in a pie, and it's thank you, Brad. Yeah, mincemeat is a bunch of
fruits. Okay.
And it looks weird and it sounds weird, but once my grandfather was like, if you want to try some, and he's like, well, if you want to eat this, I'm the only one that ever. He was the only one that ever ate it. So then eventually, him and I were the only ones, so we had more pie for ourselves.
I think the name seems to be scaring people off, right? But that sounds delicious from your description.
It actually is. It really is. It really is good. And I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any other pies that.
I mean, that's pretty good. Like, that's quite a bunch. Like,
I mean, some people are just like, it's just pumpkin or apple. Bring them all on. Bring on the cheesecake too. Let's have some.
Cheesecake. Heck yeah, with cheesecake. I'm gonna say fuck yeah, but sure, bring on cheesecake. Let's go. I love cheesecake. Yeah. Brett says spotted dick is also delicious with an unfortunate name. Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, that's. Isn't that like it's like a bread pudding inside of a can? Dick.
I don't. I would love to know the origin story of that.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't even want to.
That's like, it's like in certain parts of the UK, and I've said this on my stream before, and I won't say it again, but like, in certain parts of England, they call cigarettes a very different thing.
Oh yeah, no, you don't. You need not go for. I know what you're talking about.
No, I mean everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
But the first time I was ever in England and someone asked me if I wanted to go out and what? And I don't know if it's used as a slang as much anymore, but it was definitely like, it's so weird when you go to different parts of the world with words being completely something different. Like, man, if you said that in the United States, that would be, oh God.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you wonder because spotted dick is that same way, or
gotcha.
Even when you get like what is that? Poppycock. Remember that?
I do remember poppycock. Wasn't that like a snack, like a popcorn snack or some sort?
Yeah, it's like a caramel popcorn.
Sounds
thing.
Yeah. Poppycock. Phenomenal. Brett says Canadians call it a dart, which is a lot better. Yeah, 100%.
A dart, yeah.
Darts.
Yeah.
I love how everybody's got names for cigarettes. Like, it's just like it can be a joint, depending on what kind of things you put in there. Phenomenal. Do we have anything else in the chat? Brett asks, are you pro or con mac and cheese at Thanksgiving?
Bring it on. I mean, it wasn't traditional at mine, but I've been to enough Thanksgivings over the year that I do not discriminate if there's mac and cheese.
We had it at our Thanksgiving, so I'm not opposed either. So let's with that.
Whatever. There's no, in my opinion, as long as we got turkey and some of the traditional sides and a pumpkin and apple pie. Everything else is fair game. Let's bring it on. If you want to try something different this year, like I never had that corn pudding until I went to my friend's house.
Cool.
Now I really like that. But it's also interesting when you go to different parts of the country or different families. Everybody seems to have one thing that's a little bit different than anywhere else. Like I've been places where they use cornbread instead of make a cornbread stuffing. That
would really work. Yeah, cornbread is a good choice for stuffing.
Cornbread stuffing. I haven't had it in a number of years, but it's exactly the way it sounds. Kind of a cornbread, but it's in a stuffing type of form, and it works.
It works. Yeah. I love it. All right, folks, it is now time.
It's sandwich time, bro.
It's sandwich time. Let's go. Here we go. Get ready for here we go. Oh God, let me try that again. Why do we always, whenever we have like the most like the biggest musicians on the show, this is when I mess up the app. Let me try that again. Okay. Okay, it's as close as I'm gonna. So sorry, Joe. It's normally like this, There we go. Okay, but anyway,
So who's revealing it? How does this work?
all right. So normally, just like baseball, I like to give it to the guest first to reveal the sandwich. So I'm going to give it to you. Let's see what you got tonight.
Okay, well, today I went to I was gonna make a sandwich, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna go to one of my favorite places in Syracuse, and it's a place called the Brooklyn Pickle. And
Nice.
It's a New York style
Mhm.
delicatessen, and we have a couple of locations here in Syracuse. And when you're gonna go there, you're gonna get a monster sandwich. Like the bread, they cut the bread the long way. Like instead of this way to make the sandwich, they cut the bread this way. So the slices of the bread are literally, it's a smaller loaf of bread, but they cut it horizontally or vertically or whatever way you want to do it. And then they cut that in half. So when you get a whole sandwich, you're actually getting what most people consider two. So I went there today.
Nice.
And they have a bunch of stuff, but one of my favorite sandwiches and very nostalgic for me because my mom used to make it all the time, and it was like there was two sandwiches I ate a lot of growing up when I brown bagged it. One was just a plain old bologna and cheese with American cheese, and I would put Pringles on the top of it and just crunch it in. And this one, egg and olive.
Oh, nice. Wow, classic.
Oh, and I don't get anything on it. Like I don't put any toppings on it or anything like that. I just get, on some good wheat bread. And the best thing about the Brooklyn pickle is they give you a bunch of actual pickles.
Gotta get the pickles. I love pickles too. That's cool.
And I know my camera is fuzzy, but you can still see how much egg and olive is oozing out of the bread. I ate half of it earlier because I'm like, I bought it like 2 this afternoon. There's no way. I have to get a full because there's no way I'm going to make this all the way till stream.
I hear it. Oh, that looks great. Okay, so that is a phenomenal. See, what's interesting about that, Joe? That could be like a breakfast sandwich, right? With the egg?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That has very interesting vibes there. I like it. So let me show you what I got.
What do you got?
All right, so I wanted to try this one. Chicken sandwiches are a big thing here. So this one is from a place called Honey's Kettle Fried Chicken in Culver City, which isn't too far from where I live. And here it is. This is the new chicken sandwich. They normally sell just fried chicken by itself. Oh my god!
Look at that thing.
Yeah, look at that.
Is that a chicken breast or a little bit of
It is. Yeah, I believe this is a chicken breast as well. So it's got.
But what's on there?
So we got. So let's go pop the top. We got some. It looks like mozzarella cheese or Swiss, I think. We got the special sauce. We got lots of fries. We've got tomato and lettuce and some onion. Let's try to look at this a little further. The cheese is... Oh, we got some relish on here. Take a look. Can you see that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Look at that relish. It's kind of hard to see from that. My lighting can be kind of a pain sometimes. Like, oh, there we go. There it is. There we go. Yeah, that relish looks sweet. I see... yeah, that's pretty much it. It's on this potato roll. And I got these fries, which I sampled one before we started stream. It's really good. These fries are great. So let's enjoy.
Bite, man. I want to see the bite.
Oh, yeah. Joe, I gotta do that for you. All right, folks. Because as is the brand. Let's do it. Here it is.
Oh, yeah. That's a hearty sandwich right
Oh, yeah. Look, it's just taking up my whole hand. Like, this is great. It's a mean hombre. This is great chicken. This chicken is... You can even tell the difference when it's a fresh chicken breast.
Oh, yeah.
It's...
Instead of something that was frozen before and then they breaded it, or it was breaded and then frozen.
Yeah, you totally can tell the difference. But
I love this. I love the egg and olive from there, but it's still not as good as my mom's.
I believe that.
And there's a thing. My mom, I don't know what she did with it, but I mean, some people will either make an egg and olive with mayonnaise or some with Miracle Whip. I'm not a Miracle Whip guy at all. I like mayonnaise.
I have, I got a really large part of my life without having Miracle Whip, and then when I finally tried, I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of whatever.
In certain situations, but I don't like. It's got to be mayonnaise when it comes to an egg and olive.
I think that you're right, because What's interesting about mayonnaise is made with eggs, so I think the synergy is a lot better when you go with a genuine article. Yeah.
But I also like when they make an egg and olive. Like this one is very finely chopped,
Hmm.
almost to like a mush. Whereas my mom's was like there was much bigger chunks of egg, so you didn't finely chop it. So you would get a big, chunk of an egg that's like maybe the size of a quarter and stuff.
I
So
think I like that strategy more from your mom. Like that's really cool.
I
Uh,
did too. And I was actually speaking to my mother earlier and telling her I got this sandwich. And she said, "You know what I'm making for dinner tonight?"
It's
She
really,
made like an olive sandwiches. Yeah.
really.
I'm like, but mom, if you were gonna make one, I would have came out there and grabbed a sandwich from you. So,
What's serendipity? Yeah, you're right. That would have been even cooler. Wow. We'll have her make another one. Like maybe get it later, perhaps. That sounds awesome.
yeah.
What are the chances? Tell you what, this relish is definitely a game changer. Like, just a little relish, but
Is it a dill relish or a sweet relish?
this appears to be a sweet relish. Yeah. Um, I know people are divided on that too, like dill pickles and sweet pickles. And typically, I side towards the dill. I'm not really a
Me
sweet.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, I like them both.
Hmm.
I like all kinds of pickles, but if you're gonna if you're gonna pick, if I had to pick one, I would definitely pick dill over
Mm.
that. But my grandfather used to make a lot of pickles, and he would make sweet. He make dill. He made bread and butter pickles, and but I really liked his bread and butter pickles. I don't like the ones from the store
Hmm.
to this day. And the only other pickles that I like that were bread and butter pickles is I've have some people um, that are inside my Twitch community that I know in real life actually play it. Um, the one woman, she's a manager of one of the venues that I play at in the summer, and her husband makes amazing bread and butter pickles.
Cool. Yeah. But as you said, I guess it's a mental adjustment to get used to sweet pickles in general. Like it does work for relish, I think, but or is relish just made that way anyway? Like I've never tasted a salty relish, so maybe it is a dill
We
pickle
have
anyway.
it. We have it up here, like in a couple of the hot dog places we
Oh,
have,
okay.
and they have a dill relish.
Joe, I know that in your area they have the white hots. I've
Yep.
been very intrigued by those. Like a friend of mine sent me white hots one time,
Hmm.
and it's like once you get past the visual of it being white, right? It's pretty good. Like I really
No,
like
it's
them.
real good. It's a different taste. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
pork.
Hmm.
It's a pork. And what makes it white is there's an egg in there.
Okay. Okay.
That's what gives it the white stuff, but it's a more of a pork and it's got a little bit of a different spice. I grew up because being where I'm from, especially in New York, and I don't know if it's like this around in other parts of the country, hot dogs are very regional. And I'm not talking,
Right.
I'm not talking like all of New York. It's hyper regional, if that's the right word. It's like so Syracuse has their own hot dog that everyone loves. And then you go to like Binghamton, which is an hour south, they have their own. Then you go to Rochester and they got their own. Buffalo's got their own. Albany's got their own. Then you go downstate and there's ones that are above New York City. And then you get to New York City and it's like Nathan's, but there's also a couple others in there. And then you go up to upstate New York, which is in the very upper part where near New Hampshire and Vermont and the Canadian border. And then they have their own up there. But what we have here in Syracuse is called Hoffman's. That's our
Ah,
that's
yes.
the main ones, and they
Hmm.
make both the red and the white hots. But we don't call them in Western New York. They call them red and white hots, whereas they call them a Frank
Okay.
is the red one, and is a Cooney or a Coney is the white ones.
Okay, I'm familiar. So that yes, right. That's right. I do remember that name now. Yeah. So that's cool that they use those terms to help distinguish the two.
Mhm.
Um.
And when I go to this place, it's a place called Hyde's.
Mhm.
Uh, and I mean, in the summertime, you're standing in line, but it goes real quick. And you go through like lunch style and you grab your sides. You're like, hey, fries or onion rings. You grab a chocolate milk. I get what they call birch beer, which is like root beer, but it's clear. It's made out of a birch tree, um,
Okay.
out of the bark of a birch tree. So I get a birch beer, and then you get up to the counter, and they're like, all right, what do you want? And some places like in Rochester, they kind of split the dog. and then they flatten it out and they cook it that way. Whereas here it's more of the, you want the snap.
Yeah.
Ours are called ours here are called snappies.
Okay.
Yeah. That snap. And that's what they're called.
Natural casings. Gotta have the natural. Oh, thank you very much for the follow. Mez is 18. I appreciate you. Welcome in.
Yeah. You get that natural casing and that snap.
Yeah.
But you can get them either cooked lightly, or my dad really liked them just burnt. So he's like, all right, take the one in the back, burn the shit out of it, and then
that's funny.
Put it out there. And you can also get a double, which is just put 2 on there. And around here, at least at Hyde's, it's served in a New England bun. Do you know what a New England style bun is?
I am not familiar with the New England style bun.
Okay. A New England, I mean, hot dog bun just looks like hot dog bun. New England style kind of looks like, if you Google it, anyone out there, you can go, it kind of, you see the white, it kind of looks like white bread on the outside, but it's got, I don't know how to, like, if you ever seen a lobster roll, most lobster rolls are served on what's called the New England style bun. Not all of them, but that's where they're and our hot dogs at our place, a lot of the places around here serve them on a New England style bun, which in my opinion is, just because I think I grew up with it that way. It's, I don't know, it tastes better. So
is it bigger or is it about the same? Like, that's what I was trying to figure out.
What's that?
Is it bigger than a hot dog bun, or is it roughly the same size?
About the same.
Oh, okay. Let's go look that up. Let me go look it up and see if I can find.
You have to look it up so you can get a visual.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about.
I can put this on screen. Bun. Okay, New England bun. Let's go take a look at it. Oh wow, yeah. I don't really see. Well, let's go over to our screen share and then our browser cap, and we'll take a look at this together. So, if we take a look at what we have here on our search results, there they are. Okay, let me just zoom in. Oh, okay. So it's kind of like more like bread.
Yes, it's like that. That's actually toasted. But if you go to that one, it's super white right there.
This one?
That one right there. That's what it really looks. That's the one.
Oh, okay.
That's what you'll get.
That's so interesting. Okay.
It basically looks like, I don't know how they make it, but it looks like a piece of white bread that they kind of mush together. And fold it up, you know, but that's a New England style.
Okay.
For a hot dog. But when you get lobster rolls in that size, but you can also, when you're in New England area, you can also get those style of New England style with the lobster, but then they make them a slightly bigger up that area, so you can get a bigger one. But for the hot dog ones, it's different. So I don't know if they make a different style for some of the lobster rolls in New England.
Oh my goodness, Mr. Jimmy, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the show. Welcome into the chat. It's nice to see you. And Mr. Jimmy says hoagie bun.
Yeah, hoagie bun.
Kind of like a hoagie bun. It's just like it's a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Some Moke says 107.70. Add to cart. Well, that's for 96 of them. That's for like a lot of them. You have to.
That's a lot of them. That's like a restaurant style, but or if you're going to, like, if you're having a big cookout, you know. But yeah, around here. But if you go, I think some of the other big ones around here are Zweigels. That's like in Western New York, and that's when they do call white and red hots up there. Up north, where my parents grew up, a place called, they have Glaziers, and they look very different. That is a very like deep red hot dog.
Cool.
Whereas like a Hoffman's, actually look up, if you want to look up Hoffman's, so everyone has
absolutely
Hoffman's hot dogs, you'll get an idea, because they actually went national a few years ago. The basketball coach in Syracuse and a bunch of other people invested in a company, and now you can actually buy these hot dogs.
Here, check it out, everybody. There they are, Hoffman hot dog. These Franks look good.
But here's the thing: you can buy these ones. You can buy them in the store.
Okay.
But the ones that you get at Hyde's are made differently. Hyde's has their own signature Hoffman's that can only be bought at. If you want to spell Hyde's, that's a Snappy.
Okay.
Those are the Snappies. The red ones are the red, and then the white ones are, and the Conies or the Coonies, depending on who you are. It goes by both names. But if you want to look up Hyde's, which is spelled Heids.
Okay. What do we got over here?
Hyde's of Liverpool. There you go.
Oh, that's the one. Okay, cool. Let's go to the website. Take a look at this. Always going
to pop right up.
Look at this. Oh, what?
I wonder if you can get. I wonder if you can get pictures of the restaurant if you go out and not go to the website.
Oh, sure. Let's go take a look.
You'll look like that if you kind of look at what the. hides, and then Liverpool, and then just go to.
It keeps trying to search Heidi Klum. That's funny. That's funny.
But yeah, that's the joy. I mean, it's a super old place. It's been there probably since, I don't know, I want to say the 1910s or the 20s. It's been a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the summer, I mean, it's a very small place. So a lot of times, like where that one car is parked right under the sign, the line will wrap around the building on any given day.
I believe it.
You know, so if you, I wonder if there's pictures of the inside.
I think there are. We'll go slide through here and see. All right. Oh, hey, thank you for the follow. Thank you for Strangers ate my liver. Love the name. Welcome in. Nice to meet you tonight.
You have a picture of the grill.
Trying to find.
Yeah, there's older pictures. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool, man. I mean, everybody's got their place where they like to go, but I mean, and it's open year round. I mean, obviously it's not as busy, and there's an ice cream place next door that's off the chain, and it literally at the turn of the century that was an entertainment place. There was a bowling alley, and like the park is right across the street. There's a lake right across the street. So
cool. There we go.
I don't see
and but yeah, I'm still trying to find the interior here.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant no disrespect as far as the name is concerned. Oh, here's a look at the grill at least.
Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah, go to I see the grill right there.
Right here. Let's go look at it.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that.
You're going through the style, and then there you are. There's just a pile of wieners on the friggin'.
I know, it's just so big, just a giant pile of.
The white hots are on a different grill, but I mean, obviously they sell more of the reds than they do of the whites, because some people just don't like the whites. You know, so
that's funny.
They'll go with the red, the snappies.
I guess it's just a matter of how, just what you grown up with, right? If you're not familiar with them, but they are really good. Like I think folks should give it a chance. It's very, very good. So
I don't like completely burnt, but I also like them when they start to split. You know, when you get a hot dog that starts to split, the casing starts to snap open a little bit, but I want it completely blown out because sometimes they'll blow right out.
Yeah.
So it's a fine little line.
It really is. Like, I think we've all cooked them on the grill, especially a flat top like that. Like it could go.
It's different when you do it on a flat top. Like most people cooking hot dogs on a grill, it's an open flame. Whereas if you ever do it, and you can't even create that in a pan in the kitchen, you gotta actually have a flat top, and that flat top. And as anyone knows, you season the flat top. I don't know what they season it with. I don't know if most places cook all their bacon first thing in the morning, and that's how they season their grill. You know.
Interesting.
So,
yeah.
But I've never asked, but dude, it's such a cool. Now I want to go there and
How far are you from there?
It's 15 minutes.
Okay, not bad.
Anywhere in my town, no matter where you are, is about 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, right on. Yeah.
15, 20 tops. Even if we don't really have traffic here. Some people like complain, they're like, "Oh, it's rush hour." I'm like, we don't Syracuse. There's no such thing as rush hour, because even if there's rush hour, you can just scoot off and take 3 different back ways. I'm like, why don't you go to a real city? Why don't you go live in Los Angeles for a little bit, where it's just always a traffic jam?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
It takes you how long to go? Just 4 miles, or Chicago, or Atlanta. I think Atlanta is the absolute worst. I think Atlanta is worse than LA.
There's been talk about that. I'd have to go there to really know. I also heard Toronto's got really bad traffic. Toronto.
It's been a very long time since I've been to Toronto, so I don't really have like. Anytime I ever went to Toronto, we would park outside of the city, probably 30 miles, and then you can take all the trains in.
Okay.
Different trains that go in there, and you can take the subway, and their subways are super clean.
Cool.
So I don't think I remember driving into Toronto.
Oh, okay.
But it's been well over 20 years since I've been to Toronto.
Oh, so. I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, we should talk about that. What the tour you were on with Halocene? Like, you did visit a lot of cool cities. Like, tell us some of the highlights.
I mean, the West Coast was great. It was really us kind of getting our legs under us, because they had toured when they were younger. I think they stopped touring as a band in like maybe 2010 or 11. So it had been a good 10 years. And that's when they just got into streaming at home, or not even streaming, just making videos. and playing gigs in and around Phoenix. So this is the first time as like a grown up band with a real following to going out. So they had no idea. I was like, yeah, some of the shows are sold out and I don't know what's going to happen. So you didn't really know what was going to happen. So the first couple of days of the tour, LA and San Fran were a little shaky. Let's get our legs underneath us. And one of the biggest things was, Lauren came in from Canada, and Violet came in from Brazil, Sao Paulo. And the first night, here's a quick story. Like the first night, and Halcyon would start their set and play probably 5 or 6, 7 songs as themselves. And then they bring Lauren Babbitt down, and Lauren would start singing a few songs with them, and then they bring down Violet down for a few songs, and then they would spend the rest of the set with all of them up there singing, right? And right before Violet was the last one to go up, and it's really weird. In LA, our dressing room was actually above the stage. You could lean over our dressing room and look right down onto the stage. So you had to come down these stairs and get up onto the stage. And I was sitting up there right before Violet went on, and Violet, I'm like, "You ready? You psyched?" Because it was packed, and she's like, "I am, but I'm super nervous." I'm like, I know, I'm nervous too, but it's just like riding a bike. I know COVID and all this stuff. You probably haven't played in a while, haven't done a show. And she's like, "Joe, I've never done a show." I'm like, "What? What do you mean you've never done a show?" She's like, "I played a show acoustically with my friend when I was in university in England, but I've never done a rock show." I'm like, "But you're like, how many followers on YouTube?" She goes, "I'm just a YouTuber. And I record music, but I've never actually played a show." I'm like, I didn't even know what to say because I've been doing this for 25 years.
Right.
Talk to someone who's like 2 million followers on YouTube, and she's like, "I've never played a show," and her first show is like in front of a sold out crowd in LA. So I'm like, "You need whiskey." I'm so nervous I'll probably throw up. I'm like, "Just take a little sip, just get it on your mouth." But it was great to watch her come into her own, because then you got to watch someone who never really performed in front of an audience. But the first tour, or the West Coast tour, I think the 2 highlights of that tour for me was Seattle, which was the biggest show, and it was just a magic night. The crowd was great. It was just energy all night. But the best show that tour was Denver. That was sold out, and that crowd was just like, they were so, I don't know, it was just something just electric in the room all night long. As soon as I got up there, and for me, I'd never played in front of a crowd like that as a solo artist. I always had a band with me.
Oh, right.
I play shows all the time, but it's, bars, restaurants, small little venues, nothing like I'm opening for a rock band. I'm not opening for a singer-songwriter. I'm opening for a freaking rock band. So for me to get up on stage and, you just sit down and everyone's just like staring at me, and some of people are like right there, and I'm like, "Hey," so like it was a challenge, but I love it. A shot of whiskey and a beer or 2 before I got on, was loosened up and I was ready to go. But Denver just had that magic in it. And then the second leg that we did this summer, my 2 highlights were probably New York City, which is very different because New York City can be very fickle as a crowd.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they're like this, we see everything. Everybody comes here, blah, blah, blah. They're just, they're typical New York City people. But the thing is that I started playing, and they were singing every song that I did louder than I was singing it. And then I closed with Bohemian Rhapsody, and they were doing all the call and answers and the harmonies and everything else, which some cities were doing, but the whole crowd was doing it. So New York City was magical. And honestly, out of all the years I played New York City, which is probably at this point 30 or 35 times I played New York City, that was by far the best one. But the best show of that tour was probably Chicago. And that was probably the best show of either of the legs.
Wow.
Just like Chicago is just one of those towns, man. Detroit is one of those towns. Cleveland's one of those towns. When it comes to rock and roll, like those are like, that's where rock and roll lives. Detroit, Kiss has a song called Detroit Rock City.
Yep.
Cleveland, that was where the term rock and roll was termed on radio years and years ago. So you get those things. And in Chicago, it's just Chicago is a vibe. And it was so much fun. they played extra that night. They played an extra songs, and it was just. But then you come off a show like that, and then you you go to the next night, and you're like, no offense to Milwaukee, and Milwaukee was like probably the lowest selling show of the tour, and maybe 80 or 90 people. So it was much smaller. So you go from this crazy night in Chicago to Milwaukee. It's like, sorry, Milwaukee. Sorry, guys. I know that you guys want a great show, and you're going to get a great show, but it was at a point where it was like, it was hard. It's hard to play a show like that and expect the next show to be that good.
That's fair.
But there was none of the shows on either of the legs that were, I think, not good. Or,
Okay.
I mean, there was nights that, like, you know, we had some, but every crowd that came was so different. And the cool thing about that is, like, it was such a diverse crowd. I think because of their followings on Twitch and TikTok and YouTube and everybody else that was involved, whether it was, you know, Violet or Lauren, and on the East Coast where we had David Michael Frank, who's a huge TikToker and an old school YouTuber. You had people that were in their 60s all the way down to little kids. It wasn't just like one specific genre or like one specific like demographic, I should say. So it was really diverse. It was really fun. A lot of families were there with their, you know, this is my daughter, this is my dad, this is like, you know, it was super cool. And I think the thing about it was we all traveled together in the same van. And, you know, I didn't travel by myself, and we were all together, stayed in Airbnbs together, we did everything together. And when you spend even a few days together playing shows together, it's immediately you start bonding it's a family. And we became a family out on the road. And it was, man, I miss them. And they're in Europe right now. And they're doing amazing things in Europe, and the shows are incredible. And I've messaged them, and I'm just like, man, I'm so happy for you guys. You know, because I mean, they did this all on their own. There was no record label, radio play. They did this all DIY organically, man. And like when you see someone do that, it's like, man, hell yeah, they're doing this all on their own. There's nobody, like, they're completely backed by their community and their fans. You know,
it's pretty amazing. I'm giving a shout out to Halocene, of course. If you're not already following them, which I think at this point, like 3 people on Twitch are not following them, but everybody, if you happen to be one of the 3, go ahead and give our friends a follow up there. Yeah, you're right. The energy sounded great. I loved your highlights on Instagram too. That was really cool to see. And I was wondering if that camaraderie carried out into the shows, like after a while. Like,
I think so too. Once we've kind of found our groove, and I think once we got to Portland, and we had a couple days, well, we had a few days in San Francisco. We had a day off and then played a show, and then we had Sacramento and then another day off, and then Portland. So we were camped in San Francisco for like basically 4 days, staying at this Airbnb. So we really had a lot of time to sit with each other. You know, one night we all made dinner together. We were sitting around drinking wine, sitting up late at night, and just really just playing card games or just getting to know each other. And I think once we got through the San Francisco show, it was like, and by the time we got to Portland, there was that camaraderie. And I think absolutely that went out into it, you know, because I've been on tours in the past with other bands, and it was a very like footballish, or, you know, like very competitive nature, which you do want to be competitive, you know, like you want to up the game. Like, I'm going to go up first. We're the opening band, and we're going to bring it and make you guys have to bring up the energy all night. It's kind of one of those things. But there's times where it's very adversarial, or the personalities don't get along, or the band just don't mesh, you know. But it was so different because we lived together. We were gypsies, you know.
Nice.
It was great, man. I'm looking forward to doing it again. I know that we have to make up some dates because we had to cancel a few dates on the East Coast because pretty much everybody except for me and Joe, the drummer, got COVID.
I heard about that. How did you avoid it? And Joe, for that.
Honestly, I've had it, and I think I had it again in June, and I just kind of laid low.
Oh, I got you.
And at that point, like, my body had just been already exposed so many times, and but I was surprised that no one got on the West Coast, but it kind of hit us on the East Coast. So I know that we do have to make up those dates, but I don't know any specific time frame that we have to make up some of those. And I know that we're hoping the talk is to not only make up those dates, but maybe add a couple more so that we're not just going out for 3 dates.
Oh, I gotcha.
Maybe go out for like a week, you know, and add a couple more dates to it. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking at just forward to just like getting together. You know, we all talked about like, hey, let's all get together that when we're not playing a show. Let's go somewhere, meet up in Florida, or like everyone come to Phoenix and we just hang out in Phoenix for a few days or wherever it may be. You know, I know that Joe, the drummer, and I got real close, and I know that he's never been to upstate New York. I would love to come to. I'm like, come, man. I'm like, come in the middle of winter when there's 6 feet of snow.
Perfect time. Perfect time. Chamber of Commerce Day right there. Thank you so much for sharing all that. That's a really great journey. It could sound like so much fun. I'm glad that carried out for all of you. So that's pretty cool. Let's go. You know what? I think this is a good time. Let's go give the chat a chance to ask some questions as well. I know there was a question about a garbage plate from Brett Cummings, so feel free to put that in the queue too, Brett.
Oh yeah.
I want to hear. I want to hear
garbage plate. Well, I grew up. Well, I mean, living in or I went to college in Rochester.
Yeah.
That's where garbage plates were invented. So who wants to ask me about? What was the
Breddington Frothing Slush had the question about the garbage plate. Well, I think you'll put it in the chat in just a minute, but
Okay, what do you want to know, Brett?
I think he just wants to know what you'd put on it.
Oh, well, I mean, traditional garbage plate in Rochester, and it's exactly what it sounds like. I like a traditional garbage plate, which is a cheeseburger plate, and anyone out there doesn't know what a garbage plate is, which is most of you, it's just a plate, usually on one of those really strong, sturdy paper plates. And then you have one side you have mac salad, the other side you have home fries, and then you put 2 cheeseburgers, no buns, on the top of that, and then there's a dab of like they take a stick of mustard and just kind of do one of those swipey things on it. They do that. They sprinkle some raw onions, and then they take a small ladle and they pour like beef sauce on the top of it, which is like basically it's like after you're done cooking the bunch of hamburgers, so it's like pieces and parts all out,
right?
And then they kind of shovel that into a little thing, and then they use that to like pour over the top of the plate.
Oh, so fantastic.
I love that is, I mean, I don't discriminate against any of the plates, but that, like, if I'm going for traditional, I want the traditional garbage plate.
Okay.
And then you get a couple pieces of Italian bread. And me, I used to put another plate underneath it, put the 2 pieces of Italian bread, put the 2 dabs of butter, which are usually either frozen or cold, put it there. And then you put your plate on the top of that. While you're eating the plate, the warmth of the plate will melt the butter into the bread. So then when you're done eating the plate, there's all the goodness and juice and all that stuff. And you bread out, and then you just swipe up all the stuff on the plate. But I have had a hot dog plate, and I have it with the white hot and a red hot, and that's when I do like it when they split it and put that on the top, and they'll do the same thing: swipe of mustard, onions, meat sauce.
All right, folks.
You can get steak. You can get a steak plate. You can get an egg plate. I've done what it was called the Triple Crown, because the place up there that invented it was this place called Nick Tahoe's. And they're the only place in the world, especially in Rochester, that can call it a garbage plate. They trademark it. If you go anywhere else, they have to call it either a trash plate or something else. They'll call it just a plate up there. But they're the only place that can call it a garbage plate.
That's the one that I did not know. It's a
yes, they trademark it. You can only get a garbage plate at Nick Tahoe's, and there's two locations. But what I did in college, I did the Triple Crown, which is you go there for breakfast, you go there for lunch, and you go there for dinner.
Oh my God. You had an appetite for all 3 of those? Oh my
dude, I played college football, and I'll eat that all day. So and I smoked a lot of weed, so it was like munching.
Okay, that tracks. That's true.
So you would get an egg plate in the morning, so an egg and some bacon. Go for lunch, and you get the either a hot dog or a cheeseburger plate, and then at night you get a steak plate, which is like a cheap cut of like a sirloin or something.
Dinner, like so we're gonna have steak. yeah.
I'm sure I took super.
Take a look.
Yeah, that's a garbage
there.
Plate.
It is. There's your garbage plate, everybody.
That's a little bit different. I don't know if that's a cheese or like a mustard sauce, but that's what a garbage plate would look like. Yeah.
Yeah. This looks like mustard. Here's some other ones. Like you can see all the different types.
Yeah, there's different variations all over the place, especially in Rochester. But here's the thing: you can go to Syracuse and like they've tried to have plates catch on here, and they just haven't. It's really a Western, really a specific Rochester thing. Like you can find places around here will do one, but it never caught on to the point where it's everywhere. In Rochester, you're any diner you go to, any like small little eatery, any bar, they're all doing their version of a plate.
It's like a picnic just came together and like you just decided, let's just put the entire picnic on one plate. Like it's pretty
exactly what it is. What we're doing. I'm like, I don't know. And back then, I went to college. I first got to college in the fall of '92. So you're talking the early to mid '90s, and those plates were like $4.
All right, like $5.
Like, no matter how broke you were as a college student, you could always have $5, or someone be like, dude, you spot me $5, so I get a plate. So.
Yep.
But I have no idea what they cost now. And I haven't been that. When I go to Rochester, I do like Nick Tacos just for the nostalgia of it all. But my favorite place to get a garbage plate up there is a place called Empire Hots, which is in Webster. Webster is a suburb of Rochester. And that, in my opinion, has the best plate. And you talk to other places, and everyone's like, oh, I'll go to so-and-so's, or which so-and-so's diner or this eatery, and they have the best plates. Even the vegan, there's a vegan restaurant that I go up to called the Redfern. They have a vegan version of the garbage plate.
Hey, listen, before people start getting on that, I think that sounds great to me. I would definitely try it. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, anybody can do it, but I mean, I think in order for anyone to have to actually make one, you got to have the original kind of basis, like what it is, because I don't know what they do to that meat sauce. I'm sure there's something more than just scraping it off the flat top. I'm sure there's an actual recipe for it, but that's what it looks like, But man, and that place used to be open 24 hours when I was in college, and it was located in a very seedy part of Rochester.
Oh man!
So a bunch of college kids would come rolling in, and at like 2 or 3 in the morning after bars close, and you got a mixture of college kids, bums, strung out, people strung out, hookers and pimps. Like I literally got offered. I had one time a girl. There was a hooker out front, and she was gonna do whatever for just a garbage plate and a cup of coffee. I'm like, so for $6 I get the what?
Wow. That's impressive.
I've seen a gun pulled in there. Then it was back then, things were a little bit different.
Sure.
Obviously times have changed, but I've seen someone like pull out a fight, and everyone just kind of turned their head and put their head back down and just kept eating. Or one time there was a pimp that came in looking for a couple of his prostitutes.
Yeah.
And they went scurrying in the bathroom. Where are my hookers at? And all of us are just like, whatever. We're just gonna eat our plate. I don't give a crap where your hookers are. So they are not open 24 hours anymore. I think they stopped that in the late 90s because it was getting kind of crazy, huh? Oh yeah, it was a little much. So it was a weird, but it was a great experience. And I think most of those places, like most people, don't go down there. And I suggest if anyone ever goes down there, you go down in the middle of the day and you go with a couple of people. Don't go by yourself.
I gotcha. Yeah. Good call. Good call. Brett says, do you have her details, asking for a friend?
I don't know. Dude, if that woman is still alive, I'd be very surprised. Very surprised.
Good point.
After nearly 30 years, if that woman is still alive, she looked like she was on death's door when I saw her. So, not to say that she couldn't have turned her life around and some amazing things happened, but I put my money on that woman not.
Well, that's important. Yeah, I feel bad for her situation. Certainly. All right, everybody. Let's get ready to. I'd love to hear you all ask some additional questions. So this is called the random questions part of our show. So this is
questions before I hit the wall.
Right on. Yeah, we're gonna do this for a few minutes. So folks, get ready for America's favorite moment in Twitch broadcasting. There you go. There it is.
It's time for random questions. It's time.
Does this randomly pick the question that I have?
I'll break down how it works, Joe. So the way we do it, we're going to open the queue. So hold on, folks. The way you do it, folks, in the chat, exclamation point question followed by the question itself. So okay, go ahead and put your question in there too. Exclamation point question, then which is a really interesting question. We'll take him for a few minutes and then play it out from there, folks. Love to hear what you have to say. So let's start. I think we can lead off with Mokay's question. So
Yeah. What is it?
What started the tattoo obsession?
I don't know. I mean, when I first got my first tattoo, which is now actually covered up, it was my college mascot, which was a fighting cardinal, and I just thought tattoos were cool. But back in the early '90s, they weren't really prevalent. You know, a few people had tattoos, or there were people either in rock bands or people that worked at tattoo shops, you know, or punk rockers. Now everyone has tattoos, but I always loved the look of them. And then I started getting a couple more, and then I was like, man, I want a sleeve. And then it was just, and then it was just on from there. And then I joined a rock band, and I was like, well, I gotta look like a rock star, you know. But then I got really into all of it. And I mean, I've had both of my arms completely covered and then actually redone. So this one just got completely redone.
Oh, wow.
Past couple of years.
Cool.
It was a completely different tattoo. And I just had that redone. So I don't know what the next one will be. My chest is, I got stuff on my chest. I got stuff on my back. I got one on my finger. You know, I got a couple on my legs. I got a Joe Fam tattoo right here.
Nice.
So, you know, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what started obsession other than I got one and it was just like down the rabbit hole.
Right on. Well, thanks for answering that for Mokay. Thank you for the question, Mokay Helix. Now on to Brett.
Least favorite town or area you ever visited or toured? What was the name of that town in Ohio? There was a club called Nyabingi, and this guy was really into stoner rock, and he just wanted stoner rock bands. And we opened for a band we were on tour with a band called Fu Manchu, which is super stoner metal. And Brand New Sin kind of got put in there, but we weren't stoner metal. We were more like just hard rock. And that crowd hated us. We tried our best to like win them over, and they didn't. At the end of the night, the promoter didn't even want to pay us the money that was guaranteed to us by a contract. He's like, you guys sucked. No one friggin' likes you. He just was reading us all this stuff. I'm like, I don't care. And don't ever have us back if you don't want, but pay us our money so we can leave. He's like, I ain't paying you. You guys sucked. It was Youngstown, Ohio. Youngstown, Ohio.
But that's not fair. I mean, your contract's a contract. That's
contract. Yeah, but dude, there's some promoters out there be like, whatever. You know, we end up basically almost choking the guy out.
Wow.
It was we never played there again, and that was honestly that was horrible. We never wanted to go back. Like even the vibe, like if we went up and we just did our thing, we didn't try to like be anything we weren't. But man, people hate us, man.
It just happens.
PJ, do you celebrate International Wang Chung Day?
I love that question. Peach, welcome in, by the way. And look who else has joined us tonight. How about Justin and Evelyn in the chat? Welcome in. How's it going? Let me give our friends a shout out.
It's the little inside joke that today is National Wang Chung Day. So like, yeah. I celebrate International Wang Chung Day every day.
It's a great answer. I love the answer.
Every day. Justin and Evelyn, that wasn't the first time that someone tried not to pay me. There's been a few times in my career.
Oh, that's rough.
Where someone like, well, no one showed up tonight. Well, that's not my fault. You said you were going to pay me this. Are you paying your bartender tonight? Yeah. Are you paying your doorman? Yeah. Are you paying yourself? Did you pay the beer guy when he showed up today? Yeah. I'm like, you're freaking paying me too.
Yeah.
I'm no different than anybody else here. And I'm sorry that no one came. I'm sorry that my crowd didn't come to your bar. How about where was your crowd? You know, like where was the people that are supposed to be at your bar? Like, why don't you get mad at your bartender for no one coming in to see your bartender? We got in this pissing match. He's like, well, I'm only giving you half. I'm like, well, that's cool, but I'm not leaving until I get all of it. You know,
that's just
stared out.
That's
and
messed
he
up.
gave it to me and he goes, you'll never play here again. I'm like, fine, it's fine. Have a great night.
It's like, were you gonna anyway?
Here's the thing. I played all the hours. Like if you thought it was going to go bad, stop. We'll work on some compromise. Pay me $50, cover my gas, and let me go home. But this guy, I'm like, dude, I played all 3 hours.
Right.
With no break. I didn't even ask for a free drink. I bought my own drink. for the night.
That's ridiculous.
So, and you still don't want to pay me? I'm like, so
Yeah,
they went out of they were out of business.
I was gonna say, like, that guy could not. That was not sustainable. Yeah.
But but it was, I've had some times where I got people that like, well, we didn't do really well tonight. How about taking it? And like, it's always works out. But
yeah.
All right, what do we got next?
Well,
what is your Spotify faves that would surprise people? That almost goes into what are my top 3 guilty pleasures. All right, well, we can kind of lump both of these together. One of my Spotify faves that would surprise me. I don't know if it would. Anybody who knows me, or at least inside of my Twitch community, I don't think you'd be surprised at anything knowing everything that I play, because I pretty much listen to everything that I play. I don't know what would surprise somebody. I'm trying to think. I mean, obvious answer is someone like Barry Manilow, but that doesn't seem too far out of the realm since I love playing piano.
We've seen it on your stream too, the Barry Manilow, I'm pretty sure. So yeah.
I mean, I don't consider any music anything guilty pleasure. If you like it, you like it. You shouldn't feel guilty for liking it, right? But I get what the question is. So my top 3 guilty pleasures. Man, I love just really cheesy pop music in general. Like I love a good cheesy pop song.
Yeah.
Like, insert cheesy pop song. I love it.
Fancy.
It's catchy and bubblegummy and stuff like that. My second guilty pleasure is I love Barry Manilow. You'll catch me singing at the top of my lungs when I'm driving down the road. And my third guilty pleasure would probably be, that would surprise somebody as well. That's a really good question, man. It's tough because I really like so much stuff. Probably just really early country music, like early stages country music.
Oh, Wayback Machine.
Yeah, like my grandparents listening to the very early stages of country music. Like before Johnny Cash, it was the Carters, stuff like that. Like very simple time music. But I don't know, man. It's always a tough question for me because like anybody who knows me knows I just listen to everything. I play everything.
Well, I guess I would think of one direction I'd go with it is, is there a genre you listen to that not a lot of other people know about? Like, is there a band that you love that no one else seems to know? Something like that. Like, that would be the way I would position it.
Tough, man, because I can't think of anything.
Yeah. No, that seems...
It's a tough question for me.
And I think that's a good... I mean, I think that's true because you do listen... I mean, I know that a lot of different genres are represented on your stream, so... Your point very much tracks. Let me just catch up on a couple things before we get back to questions. Justin and Evelyn, hey. Also, Joe, I saw your IG post and just wanted to send you a big hug. It's Evelyn.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I think that says it all. We don't need to speak about that tonight. It's just it's one of those things. But it's really good. I appreciate that. So
yeah.
Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift. I wouldn't find it a guilt or pleasure. I think she's freaking amazing. I started there. That would go into my guilty pop, really good pop music, cheesy pop music, like the song "Friday" by Rebecca Black. I guess that would be.
Is that a requestable song?
Yeah, remember that song?
I do.
Friday.
I don't
love stuff like that.
Oh, it was a song.
Yeah, absolutely. What inspired me to start playing music? I don't know. I really think, having a piano in the house, and I had parents that always listened to music, and brothers that listened to music. There was always music in the house, but I was always drawn to the piano that was in the house, and I was always trying to, figure it out and trying to, And then my mom started teaching me basic stuff, and it was just like it was off to the races at like age 5, like. I was learning to read music and play music at the age of 5 when most people don't usually start. That doesn't make me a prodigy. I would just got into it a lot sooner. I would say that I'm really prolific at like playing. There's definitely people that are way better than me, but like my love of music started so young that it's really tough to remember what inspired me to get obsessed with it, because the obsession was there since I can remember. It was like literally there before I had memories. You know?
Wow. And so Moke's follow-up question, do you remember what the first song was that you learned?
The first song that I learned, probably Chopsticks.
Okay.
And Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Classics.
Very simple stuff. Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
Yeah.
But the first complex song that I probably taught myself before I started taking lessons, I taught myself how to play The Rose by Bette Midler.
What? Wow.
Yeah, just a very, very basic. But that was like I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and that was when my mom's like, "Okay, we need to get you into lessons."
That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, that must have. Your mom must have been so impressed by that.
Yeah, and that was like, okay, you're taking it serious, because my brothers, she tried to teach my brothers, and then she's like, they didn't take it as seriously, and then once that was like, it's off to the races.
Cool. Very, very cool.
Any particular artist who inspired your singing style? A lot. I always say, like some of the ones that inspired me the most is Ronnie Van Zant from Leonard Skinner.
Oh wow.
Otis Redding. And probably James Hetfield and Phil from James Hetfield from Metallica and Phil from Pantera. And I really think that covers like the different, the soul, the grit, know, and just the pure rock and roll that is Ronnie. I think that's really the three that, especially Otis Redding and Ronnie Van Zant. They were very early on in my life, ones that I were driven to. So
I appreciate that. Like that look back. Like that was my question. So thanks for that. Let's go to PJME's question. What's the weirdest time signature that you've written in?
It's either 4/4, 3/4, or 6/8. Like most of the time, it's 4/4. I don't have the ability to be able to write like stuff that like maybe System of a Down does, or the Beatles would be like, oh, we're playing in 7/8, or we're playing in some weird time signatures. I have the ability, but when I write, it doesn't come out that way. So it's either just a straight or. And 3/4 and 6/8 are basically the same thing. It's just a little more drawn out. But yeah, those are pretty much the only things that I do. Like there are bands out there that like pride themselves and be able to go like, hey, we're in 4/4, and then we went to this and we went to that, and make it sound seamless, which I think is brilliant. But that is definitely not. I can't do it. I wish I could. Maybe someday. There's still time.
That's so interesting that like the more essentially 4/4 is a basic time signature. Yes, like just
1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4.
That's very interesting. Wow.
That's the 4/4, and the 3/4 is dot, and 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it's basically the same thing.
Gotcha.
3/4 and 6/8 are basically the same time signature.
I gotcha. Right on. Gothic Cat, thank you so much for the follow earlier tonight, and I appreciate it. Welcome in. Good to see you. Nice to see you too, Gothic Cat. We're here with Just Joe Syracuse tonight. We're having some great questions. If you'd like to ask a question too, exclamation point question followed by the question itself. And thank you for the question, Peach. Great to see you tonight, by the way. Let's see. Pinball Sorcerer, welcome in, Pinball. What's going on? Let me give Pinball a shout out too. What's going on?
Wizard.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure. Did you ever listen to the entire Tommy album?
Oh yeah,
it's so good, so good, so
unbelievable.
Good. Yeah.
What is my favorite song to play? Instrumentally, it is a song that I used to play. It's called American Hymn. It's been called a couple of different things over the years. It's probably the last like instrumental song I learned to play with my piano teacher before. I was like, I just want to sing and play, and change it. And it kind of, I don't. Can we get audio through here?
Yep, I got it. I hear it.
I learned to play that, and that's like, it's just it's been called a couple of different things over the years. I know I learned it as an American Hymn. I've one time played it inside a stream, and someone else was like, oh, that is this. I think it depends on where you've been. So.
Right on. Pinball Sorcerer, as we talked about, welcome in. You loading in, aka Rain. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's good to see you. Sorry I've been lurking this entire time, Dave and Joe, but tonight has been a wonderful show. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rain. Appreciate you. A question from Justin and Evelyn. How are you finding balancing live gigs / travel with Twitch shows?
I don't know. It's a very good question because it has not been, it's not been an easy thing to be able to give everything it's proper. It's been a struggle to find the balance and give everything its equal attention. And I'm starting to learn that it may not ever happen. And that's just, that's a tough question because it's one of the things I'm really struggling with now is being able to give everything its proper time. And I kind of just go where I feel it's vibing at that time. So I wish I had more time to be able to do a thing because during the pandemic, it was very easy just to stream because there was nothing else to do or there was no gigs to play or there was very limited gigs to play. So now that everything is back in that level, it's just very, it's been a tough balance and I have not even come close to figuring it out yet. So I know it sounds a little depressing, but that might be the best answer that I have right now.
Well, we do appreciate the honesty in that assessment. I mean, and I have looked at your schedule of live gigs, and there are quite a number of them, so I totally understand.
I mean, before the pandemic, I was playing 300 plus shows a year for the better part of a decade.
Wow.
So, I literally played about 3,000 shows in gigs in the course of a decade leading up to the pandemic hitting, so it could easily go back that way. So, but I don't want to, it's tough. So, yeah, it's been the same for you guys too. It's tough, because it's a really weird world. It's a great problem to have because you want to be able to have gigs in person that people want. And I don't know, there's a lot that goes on there. So
absolutely.
Not a question, Brethren Flossing Slosh. It says that self-care is the most important part of life. Take care of yourself. Yeah, it is. It is. And without having to get in all that. And so, yeah, absolutely. And a question from Jason says, do you struggle with the aspect of being friendly with people you would normally want nothing to do with?
This is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's a performer or celebrity is going to be, how about even being in a band?
Oh, yeah.
That you wouldn't hang out with
Right.
outside of the band, but for some reason you make really good music with the person, right? Like I've been in projects with people who I would have never, that I don't have anything in common with. I don't like I don't necessarily agree with their views. I don't want to say don't like, but I just wouldn't hang out with them in life. So, but when we're in a band, it vibes really well. That's probably more of an awkward that's probably more of the question than it is to hang out with and be friendly. Anybody, listen, regardless of what anybody believes in politically or anything like that, you're welcome to do so. And I'm always, if you're supporting me and listening to my music or buying my music or coming to my shows or supporting on some level, then I will absolutely be friendly and thankful for you, regardless of anything else that you do in your life. That doesn't bother me. If you're supporting me and you're not hurting anybody that's involved with me or myself, then bring it on, man. Enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. It just, can you respect people's differences and still be supportive of everyone's work? I think that's, without being, like you said, being a distraction. PJ, I mean, the late 80s Oakland days apparently hated each other.
Yeah, I mean, it happens in sports teams.
It does.
I mean, think about jobs that you work in. You may not necessarily get along with it, but you can work together as a team. There's something about on a maybe even a molecular level that does that. I would never feel that I'm faking it, but if I'm talking, here's the thing. If I'm talking to someone that I kind of know is not, I can vibe on that and feel it in my gut. But if I got that sense of that vibe, I will keep it very short and I'll keep it friendly and thankful. And then I will move on. I will try not to get caught into that web because I've had that happen and you all of a sudden get caught into this web and then it eventually goes down this hole with this person and you're like, I wish I got out of this conversation 5 minutes ago. You know,
Oh yeah.
kind of go like you're trying to. Yeah, you know, so it's tough. It's tough, but I mean,
absolutely.
again, if anybody's ever supporting me, man, it's like I'm gonna be thankful that you're here. So
No, I mean, I don't. I mean, perhaps they use the number 30%. I think that's a big number. I don't think it's 30 for me, at least. Like, it's certainly not 0, but it's not 30. I think, unless you're counting like bots that like are spamming. Like, if you count that, then sure. Then it probably is 30. But
I don't think I would ever fake it, but I am going to keep it cordial.
Yeah.
I would never
Yeah.
feel like I fake it. But I am going to put on the face and be friendly. And unless you're not to me, then I'm not going to fake it. I'm too old to fake it. It's just weird, you know.
It's a very interesting conversation because you definitely do have to kind of hold back, like, you know.
You
do, but it doesn't mean you're being fake necessarily. It just means that you might open yourself a little more to people that you have more of a vibe with, as you mentioned. So it totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's keep the questions going. We can go take a couple more, but tonight. So feel free to throw them in. Give you one more call for it, everybody. Let's see. Well, you see, that is the big question. Jason says, just wondering how many, and I actually experienced a little bit of this recently too. Like, I don't ever completely know, but you can generally tell like who of your Twitch friends are truly friends, or who are they just they're on your, you know what I mean? Like, how many of them just being friendly? I don't know. Like, I don't want to think too much about that, right? Because I feel like you get psyched out if you get too deep into that.
I already overthink enough in my life.
Sure. Yeah.
There's only so many places for I already got enough random song lyrics and movie quotes in my head. It occupies 90% of my brain. It's like I don't have much other space in there, you know?
Yeah, 100%. So, you know, the best you can do is just be respectful. And if the really, as you mentioned, it's really a matter of, are they being respectful too? And if not, then you have great people, mods, and other people in your community that can help assess that situation. So, Pinball says, I'm just a troll. I accept my caste in society.
Amen.
We love you for it. Pinball.
A good, solid trolling that knows what they're doing and doing it in like a very like positive manner or a joking manner is genius. I can do that, you know?
Yeah. So. Oh, look at that. Pinball dropping mic and going out. Pinball, have a great rest of your night. That's nice. We'll give our friend Pinball a follow, everybody. He also does some variety of things on stream. Brad's calling for tramp stamps next year at TwitchCon when we meet. All right, Brad, I'm holding you to it. We'll join the journey to tattoos alongside Joe. That's what we'll do next year.
What percentage of your job is skill versus personality?
Yeah, great question. What do you think?
Sheesh. Like someone's like, man, you're a great piano player. I'm like, no, I'm a fair piano player, and I consider myself a good singer and a fair piano player. Personality, a lot of it, you know, because I mean, I've seen great musicians that are incredible, but they don't have a personality. So it's very hard to get drawn into them. You know, you have to either really be into the musicianship or find another way to connect with it. But the people that I've always connected with as a musician, they have some sort of personality. It doesn't mean they have to be boisterous. Doesn't mean they have to be loud. It doesn't mean personality like but there's some kind of personality. Like for example, like if you ever see a guy named Gary Clark Jr. He's a blues guitar player, and he is he doesn't have much of a stage presence as opposed to like, you know, like Slash or someone like that. It's just larger than life. But Gary Clark holds himself in his way on stage that he has this personality that is, he doesn't talk much. He sings, he plays his guitar, and that's it. But there's something about him.
Yeah.
So I really think I'm drawn not only to the musician, but what's really going to make me a fan is the personality, not just what they're talking when they're talking in real life, but what they do on stage. So that's always a big thing for me. So when I get up there, if I can exude my personality or fuse my personality into my show, into my act, then it makes it more enjoyable, and I have better shows when it's like that, and I enjoy a show like that. So I would say skill, and at least in my realm, is probably 40%, and and personality 60.
Yeah, I think that's a. I think a number of us would feel similarly. I feel like personality drives a lot of who's popular on Twitch, and from what I see, you know, if you can be really good at piano or guitar or what have you, but if you don't have the, what is it, the charisma, I think the word would be.
Yeah, you gotta have something that's drawing
Absolutely.
some people in, because I've seen some great people on musicianship on Twitch, and you're like, man, well, no one's watching them, but then you realize it's like, which is fine. But, you know, a lot of the people that are on Twitch are looking for personalities, or looking for a community and stuff like that. And that all trickles down from the streamer. So if the streamer doesn't have that or exude that, you can certainly enjoy it and marvel in their amazing skill. But I think it's a different level when they actually have the personality too. Because there's sometimes that people that aren't as skilled have these really great personalities and end up having, you know, huge communities or huge followings because of it.
Oh my goodness, look who's rated us in here. Right? Oh my, Brookstone Bards, welcome in. Holy cow. My goodness, Pete, welcome in. Pete and Special K and Giblet and Tim. All right, let's do it. So this is the raid song. I protect the right. I protect the right. Coming off a big show. What's going on, Pete? How's it? Welcome back in. We're here with Just Joe Syracuse. And Ryan predicted. We have done it. It has been predicted. Thank you very much for joining us. You know, we're really excited for everybody here at Brookstone. Thank you very much for the resub, Brahomo. And Kusher, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. My name is Davey. I'm a talk show host that does those things, aka variety streamer. And we're here with Just Joe Syracuse tonight. It's been a great conversation, Joe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being part of this tonight. Oh my gosh, look at this. All these. Thank you for the subs, everybody. For Homo Special K. Bronco Billy, thank you for the follow. Do you have a question for Just Joe Syracuse? Feel free to throw it into our chat, ! Question, followed by the question itself. And holy mackerel, all this hype that just came in. How was your stream, everybody? Joe, call me a bastard. Yeah, 100%. Call.
The Brookstone bastard.
Yeah. What is the origin of that phraseology?
Well, it happened as that's what I thought his name was.
Oh, really?
When he first rated me.
That's cool. Okay.
So Brookstone bastard. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's Bards, you know.
That's just...
it was an oversight on mine. So.
Oh, okay. No worries. Oh, well, thank you for the hype train, everybody. That's very kind. Let's just keep it going with the questions. You're very kind for all the gift subs. So ! Question followed by the question itself. We can go in a few more minutes. And so good to see you, Pete. We'll give our friends, the Brookstone Bards, a follow, everybody. I don't know if there's a shout out already, but I'll throw another one. Why not? But congrats on the new album. That's awesome. That's really great.
Yeah, congrats on that. I was I lurked in a little bit yesterday when you were talking about it. I can't wait to get a chance to sit down and kind of dig in, because I don't want to you know, it's a listen like that I don't want to give a casual listen to. I want to be able to do it. So, but it's cool, man. I love it.
Yep. You know, I know we speak about original music, and you've had a lot of pretty awesome songs yourself, Joe. And I remember one of your songs making it top 3, third place in TwitchVision music. That's a great run.
Number 3, not this year, but last year, the first year of TwitchVision. This year, I think I was like 6th, and number 6 and stuff. But yeah, I'm honored. I've really gotten a chance to write very much. It's been a very busy year, and like sometimes the last thing you want to do after playing music for like 4 hours and doing it multiple days a week, the last thing you want to do is sit down and play more music. So, but I'm hoping, the space happens at some point soon. So.
No, that's good. It's super cool. Super cool. Yeah. Beat me by that. Wait, what's going on here in the chat? There's so much stuff. So much action happens when the Brookstone Bards.
I beat you that year. That was like Brookstone was right in the running for that.
Oh yeah, 4th. Yeah, because Pete's song, Art and Pete, was had right. Mana Used to Be was in 4th, which. Yeah, y'all are legends. That's the bottom line of that. So I'm just standing by for any more questions. Anything else? Okay. keep it rolling. But yeah, thank you very much for the raid, everyone. Just to repeat, like the Brooks and Bards are great parts of this community, and I'm sure you're familiar with them too. And we're glad you can hang out with Joe and me. Anything you wanted to promo? I mean, maybe this isn't the greatest time to ask that question, but
no. I mean, well, I made it to the second round of the cheer choice awards.
Yes, nice.
I made it to round 2. That the voting I think started today for
Okay.
round 2, so I'm super stoked for that. You know, I think there's after this round it goes down to 10, and then after that round it goes to the top 5, and whoever the top 5 is in each category is flown out to Las Vegas in April for the Cheer Choice Awards, and we'll go from there. So we'll see what happens with this next round. So
kudos to you, Joe. Yeah, that's a great awards event. What it does is it commemorates it recognizes positivity in social media, which is highly needed these days, and it's really great that you're part of that. If you want to vote for Joe, go to the link right there. You can do one free vote every day, so feel free to put that in. And everyone wishing you good luck. I agree with that. So
we'll see what happens. It's there's a lot of people that are involved. You know, a lot of and it's not just most of the people that I'm seeing there, especially in the music category, are people that I don't even know from Twitch. They're from so many different other platforms, whether TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. It's really cool that there's a giant cross section of all that. So it's really cool to like be lumped in with some other people, and maybe we're all kind of, even if I don't get to the next round, then it'll be great. You know, I'm stoked, man. I'm super stoked. And we'll see what happens. I mean, again, and it sounds cliche when someone says it's like, man, I'm just happy to be nominated.
Yeah, it's a very big honor. I'm thrilled about it too. Brooks and Bards is the question. When was the last time you did dueling pianos?
Well, I've never done like what you do or like Danny does, like Human Juke or Justin Emlin do. Like I've never done a show like that. I've played a show with another piano player. I've done that with a guy up here by the name of Mike Place, and him and I just kind of went back and forth and played songs together. But I've never done like an actual like dueling show like that you guys would do, or like the Howl at the Moon or one of those piano bars. I've never done something like that, so I'm really like, I would love to. Yeah, I'd love to do that at some point. Like it would be great to get to do Pete and me. That'd be killer, man.
That'd be a great show. Special cases. I would love to see a dueling show with Pete and Joe. That would be fun. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's such a different energy. Like it's one thing my friend and I were playing. It was kind of like just us playing together. It was almost like a duo more than it was a dueling. Part of it is I can't really play piano. It's like when the guys are actually playing the actual piano, and I'm like, I'm just hammering. I'm like, I'm doing my best over here, but the energy and the personalities that come out during that, and also like the comedy of it all, are like, hey, I'm gonna pay you $20 to stop playing this song and you play this song, you know. So it's a whole different thing. But yeah, I would love to get thrown into the wolves for that. Why not?
I love it. But, you know, it's true what you said earlier in the show. You know, 60% of what makes a musician a musician is personality. So at least 60% in some cases, right? So
yeah,
could carry you.
So I mean, I've been thrown into more different situations, and sometimes I like to get thrown to the wolves and just say, hey, man, I don't know what's going to happen, but let's go. You know?
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm sure I can hang with it, and if I for some reason I stumble or I don't, then it's part of the show and it makes it more entertaining. You know.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, you talk about venues. What are some of your favorite kind of venues to perform in as a solo artist?
As a solo artist, I really like last week or the week before, I can't even remember. I did a show with Dan Navarro, who used to be on Twitch, but I mean he's more. I don't know if the name is not well known, but it's one of the biggest songs was well known as "We Belong" by Pat Benatar. He co-wrote that song. So I got to do a show with him, and we have this little venue here. As a solo artist, I mean, I love playing the venues opening for a rock band, but like if I'm gonna do a solo show, I really love a listening room style, which is like very small, you know, listening. It's a small room, 50, 60, 70 people tops. Everyone be able to sit sit and just kind of have the vibe of being, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to play the song. I'm going to tell you something about the song or a story that kind of relates to the song. Those are the things that I really enjoy, more than anything, so.
Absolutely. I did see the highlight on TikTok, and that had that, like, like we were talking about, it did look really cool. Meeting your heroes is always, when you first realized it was happening, was there a moment of even like of concern, like, well, what's it going to be like if we meet Dan Navarro? Like, is this going to be?
I don't, and I'm not saying this just because it's happened, but I've done that so many times in my career that at this point I don't. I've only been starstruck like a couple times in my life, and that was one was I was backstage and I was hanging with Zach Wild from Black Label Society, and him and I were friends, and he took me over to meet Ozzy. He was playing with Ozzy that day. He took me over to meet Ozzy, and I was completely starstruck with Ozzy, and I was stumbling over my words. And the other time that I ever did that, the only other time I met Mike Ness, who is the singer and leader of a band called Social Distortion, and huge fan of his. And then I kind of got like starstruck when I met him. So
that's great. It totally
like now at this point, like I feel like I'm on the level, or I just know how to like go in and just try to not make it awkward for either of us. Gotcha. Just act like you've known each other for years, and that's really what it's like. And you're already on a level on a lot of different things, so it's pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. Is there anyone that from either Twitch or outside of Twitch that you'd be interested in meeting that you haven't met, like someone of particularly notable stature in music that you would like to meet that you have not met already?
In person, first one comes to mind is Autopilot.
Autopilot, yeah.
Just so chill and so incredibly freaking talented. To be able to, like, I would just love to pick his brain and actually watch what he does, because I think what he does is really incredible. So I think that would be definitely one of them. Another one would probably be Anel, just because Anel and I started streaming on the same day, and I think it was like one of my first raids was to her and vice versa. So, and to watch us both like start on the same day and have, see where our journeys have gone since then. I would love to actually meet her in person and just be like, hey, hey, we started this whole journey together. Like, isn't this crazy where we are now as to where we started on day one?
She would definitely appreciate that. She's been cordial and good to all her. Well, she's been good to. Well, I can't speak to everybody, but she was definitely, like, one time I met her in person. She was good to me at least. So yeah. I can say that I feel like similar things would happen if you did meet her. Okay, last call for questions. Anyone? And by the way, follow Autopilot too. What a jam! Yeah. Incredible musician. Wow. Yeah. Agreed. Absolutely. Last call. Any questions, everybody? Last call for alcohol and questions. Let's see. Trying to also scout potential raid destinations. There are many. So, here we go. Here's a question from Brett. What? All right, Joe. What did you ask Santa for?
Man, I just serenity.
I think we could.
I don't want a gift. I just want some peace of mind.
I love that. Yeah. Serenity now.
No.
Serenity now.
That's what I think of, but yeah, right on that.
I love that. Perfect timing for that, Rohomo. Welcome in, Rohomo, by the way. It's good to see you again. I think the last thing I'm going to ask before we head out, one thing I've noticed is that your presence on TikTok is rather remarkable. You mentioned that you also stream on TikTok, which is, I'm not familiar with that yet. What is it like to stream?
It's the Wild West, man.
Is it really?
It's no holds barred over. There's no semblance of order whatsoever.
I see.
And you're streaming on TikTok, and you got to pretty much do it from your phone because they haven't really perfected the way to be able to do it through OBS or through your computer. Mm-hmm. So you're streaming through, a mobile device of some sort, whether it's an iPad or your phone, and it is like and so you like,
right.
there's no no semblance of order. It is literally the Wild West. It's like when you go in there, do not expect what a Twitch chat is, because it is the exact opposite of what a Twitch chat is.
Oh, really?
People come in and play this song, play this song, play this song, play this song, and they'll just keep saying it over. And the chat is going by 100 miles an hour, and you're like, and the first couple times I did it, I'm like, I can't keep up. And eventually I was like, I'm just going to respond to stuff that I see, and for the most part, I'm just going to put my head down and play. It's a kind of a different monster, to be honest with you.
I see.
But it's fun. But it's actually a way to help. It really helps grow, because a lot of times I go on there and you can gain. I've gained sometimes 2, 3, 4, 500 other followers just from streaming on there.
Yeah.
And it really helps build that over there, because the people that are on TikTok like that are really specifically, and especially looking and listening to me, are just people that are just straight up looking for music. Those people are just, TikTok's the most, it's outperforming Facebook as the most used social network or social app in the world. So it's pretty crazy.
Joe, describe the thrill of having a TikTok song cover of yours, or just any TikTok video, going viral, because it's happened a few times. It's
happened a few times. The first time it was like I got 500,000 with my hey, I'm the voice of the big show, and that went 500,000, and then it was like, oh, that was cool. And then I did Brown Eyed Girl, and then that went like 1,000,001, and then Devil Went Down to Georgia at 1 million, and then I had Skid Row go like 1.6, and then the big one was the 3.6 million of Here I Go Again. And it's really crazy, because when you see it start taking fire, you open your app, and 10 seconds later you open the app and you're like, I just got 10,000 plays in like 4 minutes. And it's just, and the comments are going, and you're like, I try to keep up with the comments, and the next thing you know, you got like literally 10,000 comments. You're like, what do I do? You try to, so it's really crazy. And I haven't had any hit 1 million, but I did, I've had Iron Maiden get like 300,000, and then Down Under by Men at Work has almost hit 500,000. So it's pretty crazy to watch when it's something like that happens and it goes a little bit viral. So
that's really cool. Like I was really, really interested to hear about that process. Like, how do you select the songs that you would put on TikTok? Are these part of...
A lot of them were just ones that I kind of wanted to do, where I'm like, oh, this kind of sounds cool. I mean, I'm not trying to follow really any trends on there. I'm not one of those people that are like, all right, well, this is the big song right now, I'm going to do. I've done that a few times, but it hasn't had the success. The success that I've had are the ones that I didn't think would have success. The ones I'm like, this is going to be the one. This one's going to go viral. This one's going to be the one that really pushes it, and it's like one of my dead ones. And then when I put up Here I Go Again, I'm like, I got to put one up today. And I went to go, I was heading to a gig, and I just laid it down, and I put it up on TikTok, and I went to my gig, and I got to my gig, and I got set up, and I opened it. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And I minutes later, it's like at 20, 30,000. It's just going, and I check a little bit later, and it's at 100,000. I'm like, oh boy. And it was like one that I never thought that would do it. So now, then I got in my head a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, how do I what's the next one? And I was trying to stay ahead of myself. And then I've gotten to a point now, it's like, I'm just going to put up what I feel is cool, or something I come up and put it up, whether it's a genre people are going to dig or not. I'm just going to put what I really enjoy up. And if it does well, it does well. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not going to overthink it anymore.
Yeah. No, it's worked out really well. Like I have a great time following along and seeing some of these cool covers that have been up. Yeah. And I love the takes too. Like, I love that there's not just playing the song. You're doing a twist on it. Like, for example.
Yeah, I'm trying. A lot of times I'm trying to put a twist, or sometimes I'm just doing how I would perform it. I'm not always trying to make it a twist, because I don't want to do that and get myself caught in a rut where I gotta just do this all the time.
Sweet.
I gotta come up with a minor key. I gotta come up with a ballad. Sometimes I'm just gonna play the song that I love.
Yep. That's great. Brookstone Bards says, it's great to see you too, Joe. It's great to see Pete, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Pete, thank you, buddy.
I owe these guys a raid. I appreciate you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you so much for the raid as well. All right, let's go ahead and close the queue then, everyone, and I think we'll just carry out. And Joe, this has been a great conversation. Thank you so much for being a part. Yeah,
and I appreciate you, man. I was looking forward to this. I got my sandwich. I was really looking forward to it. like doing this. Who you gonna raid, man?
That's a great question. I'm trying to think about that right now. By the way, did you finish your sandwich? I assume you did.
Yeah, I finished that before you even got 2 bites into yours.
Oh yeah, we should recap that. Let's recap that for the Brookstone Bards raid. So here's what we had tonight. I had a chicken sandwich from Honey's Kettle, the fried chicken sandwich, which is half eaten. Sorry, but this is what I got left over. It had lettuce and onions and relish. Joe had an egg
salad on wheat. Very simple, no toppings, just egg salad with egg and olive, I should say.
It looked good. It looked really good. So yeah, let's go assess the raid. I think we had. Feel free to suggest someone. I know someone that you rate that we rated from your channel at one point, Fernando Ferret. I want to thank you for that too, because man, such a funny, great musician. It was a great call. So let me think. Yeah, anyone on your radar, Joe? I'd be glad to take some ideas.
I mean, I see Calvin Thomas is always a great.
That's good.
Calvin's always a great dude, man, and he loves food.
That is true. Okay, so Calvin is also celebrating 4 years on Twitch.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Let me just make sure that Calvin's still on. I think he is, right? Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. I see it. Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Anyone on your radar? Nice. So yeah, thank you again. Good night, everybody.
Davey, thank you for having me, and everybody, thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate it.
Back at you, Joe. It's been a really fun conversation, and I can't. Next time you're gonna let me know. Be glad to catch up and do the things, and if you have any shows, I'd love to go to them. So,
next time, man. Sure.
For sure.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Take care, everyone. Let's go start the raid. Let's go.
Peace out.
Get the raid calls in the chat, everybody. We're going over to Calvin Thomas music, and so let's. Oh, hey, Shaya, what's going on? Oh, thank you, Iron Angry. Thank you so much, and thank you so much as well. Rahomo, thank you thank you for the raid calls. Copy those raid calls. We're gonna go head over to Calvin Thomas, and thanks again, everyone. It's been a fun time. We'll see you there. Make sure to follow Calvin when we get there. Calvin's an amazing musician, celebrating 4 years on Twitch. Let's go give some love over to our friend Calvin, and we'll see you next time. We'll be back with sports tomorrow, and then after that, I couldn't say. But on Monday next week, we have Kevin Chambers and B Flat joining us for our next interview. That's on the 12th. But till then, have a great night. We'll see you later. We'll start the raid. And like I said, make sure to give our friend Calvin Thomas a follow once we get there, if you're not already. And vibe out. It's going to be a fun time. Take care, everyone. Oh, Shay, I'm sorry. We're about to raid out. But it's so good to see you, Shay. I hope you're doing well. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourselves, everyone. And all the best. Take care. And copy the raid calls. We'll head on over to Calvin's right away. Here we go. Take care, everyone.